Hi guys, welcome to day one of Amplify Your Confidence. I apologize just for having notes. I'm not gonna read from them the entire time, but I just have some ground that I want to cover, and I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. So I'll be looking down, referring to those from time to time. I hope it's not too distracting. Welcome. Say hi as you're getting on. I would love to hear who is on. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions along the way that hopefully we can make this participatory, but definitely ask me any questions that you have as well as we go. So day one, I said benefits versus penalties is really the theme of day one. And I'll tell you a story that explains that theme. And then I'm going to go over the journal prompts. So if you have not downloaded the journal, look in the files section of this group once we're done. And it's all there for you. It's a PDF you can download, or you can just look at it on your screen. And obviously, then you need a pen and paper separately if you're not going to print it. Say hi if you're here. I can't tell who's watching. All right, guys. So benefits versus penalties. And by the way, I'll be live in here every day, Monday through Friday. So if you're watching the replay, you can join us live at 7 p.m. Central for future installments. Okay, so let me take you back a little bit of history here. So when I was a kid, we moved a lot, and I changed schools a lot, and I was always having to make new friends. And so this is what I meant when I said that some of the experiences that I have had have kind of forced me to have confidence. And I know that we all have these experiences. Actually, that, you know what? I don't have your journal prompts in front of me, but I'll bring them up. But I believe one of them was what experiences, for you to reflect on some of your life experiences. Be more prepared next time. Anyways, I'll pull them up before we're done. But, okay, so I moved a lot as a kid, and I remember the first time, actually, was, well, the first time where I was really confident, or conscious of feeling insecure was in 6th grade. And I moved from an urban setting to a really rural place in Minnesota. And what I noticed, or what I remember, what stands out to me was, so like the styles of clothing were really different from my old school to my new school. And I just remember getting made fun of for what I was wearing. So, hey, Catherine, thanks for the love. Thanks for getting on. So, I remember being made fun of for what I was wearing. And, you know, it's like, the clothes that were like so cool in one place were like totally ridiculous in another place. Like, kids are just so mean. And I'm sure a lot of you have had that experience. Give me some hearts or leave me a comment if you were ever made fun of as a kid, and tell me what for. But those experiences make you stronger, for sure. You know, it is not pleasant to go through. But I think, you know, the way that our parents guide us in dealing with that really helps us learn how to process it. So that was kind of my first, oh, actually, sorry, I got kind of nervous with this first video. I don't know why. It's like such a personal topic, I guess, but I totally skipped like the way back part, which is when I was like kindergarten and 1st grade. So I'm an only child. I have 3 stepbrothers now, but they came into my life later. So I spent a lot of time by myself, actually. You know, both of my parents were working. They got divorced when I was really young. And so I had to like amuse myself, play by myself, had a lot of like imaginary friends. And I think that's one of the reasons now, actually, that I ended up becoming a writer, because I love to read and I started making up stories. And so I am thankful for that experience, because it had helped make me, or provide that creative inspiration, because I had to amuse myself. So it was a blessing in that way, but it actually was really hard because I had not really learned how to socialize by the time I got to school. And the other kids kind of, I think they were pretty mean to me, and I just remember that, you know, I used to like write stories. I'd go places with my grandma on the bus, and I would like just watch people and listen to what they were saying, and I would either in my head or I would actually write out the stories about their lives. It was like precursor to writing fiction, you know? So in that way it's a good thing, but then after starting school, I got made fun of quite a bit because people would say, oh, you just stare at people. Why do you stare so much? And it's because like, yeah, I really didn't know like how to interact with people. Like to me, all the people in front of me were like characters in a story. Kind of weird, I know, and that's like exactly the feedback I got, and it was a little weird, but you know, all of us are weird in our own way. So just that experience of like kind of being different made me really self-conscious, and made me from an early age like never sure if like I'm entering a room, are people going to like me or not? Okay, so that's like where I'm talking about benefits versus penalties. My mind was on the penalties, right? And so that's a cautious mentality. That's a mentality of, I don't want to take a chance and talk to someone. But humans are very social creatures, right? Sorry, this is like a little crooked. It's going to bother me. Hopefully that's better. Humans are social creatures, and we have an innate desire to have friends, right? At a very basic level. So in spite of these negative experiences that had taken place, I was courageous enough to, you know, put myself out there and, you know, talk to people instead of just keeping to myself. When we moved again in 7th grade, and ended up with like a pretty small but tight-knit circle, and some of you might even be on here watching this video, but friends who stayed in my life to this day, totally awesome people, but I think that, you know, when we have experiences like that, we can either let them kind of crush our spirit, which is, you know, that's a little bit natural, like, and just make us smaller and more risk averse, or we can decide, you know what, instead of focusing on the penalty, on the potential loss, I'm going to focus on the benefit of, okay, what if I talk to this person? Yeah, she could reject me, or I could make a really great friend. And that skill has actually served me really well, like in college, and then I've moved to new cities 3 times now after college, mostly not knowing a soul. When I moved here, I knew my husband, but I still had to go out and meet people to make friends besides him. So I think that it was a blessing in disguise, and it taught me a skill that came in handy later. And so that's why I'm telling you guys about it, is that if you have not had that experience, if you find yourself with a lot of social anxiety, that mental trick that I had used in those situations could be helpful for you. So the next time that you find yourself feeling anxious, or, you know, about approaching someone new at a party, or even anxious about even going to an event in the first place, or maybe speaking up, even to your coworker who you want to get to know better, but you're just not, you're like, oh, like, what if she doesn't want to talk to me? You know, I mean, it can be, even those very small things can make us anxious. I know, because I experience it. So the next time it comes up for you, instead of thinking about, oh, like, what if I tried to talk to her and she like thinks it's weird, and then after this it's awkward, right? Instead of thinking of the potential penalty, think about the potential benefit of, what if it goes really well, and then I'll have this awesome new friend. And there are, you know, plenty of other situations that could be applied to, like applying for a job, you know. It takes courage to put yourself out there and take a risk, and, you know, risk the disappointment, but focus on the potential benefit instead of the potential loss. And it does get easier with practice. It's like any muscle that we work, the more we work it, the stronger it gets. So if we work this muscle of like staying safe, that's what's going to get stronger. If you work the muscle of putting yourself out there and taking chances, that is what's going to get stronger. So the first time, if it feels super hard and scary, just know that it will get easier, and take satisfaction in the fact that you did take that risk. All right? And I just want to say too that, like, no matter how much negative kind of internal monologue you have, and no matter how many negative messages, it's absolutely possible to turn it around. So I grew up with like not very positive messages being given to me in a lot of ways. Like I was told a lot that like, oh, well, people aren't going to accept you because we don't live in a good neighborhood. They're not going to like you. They're going to make fun of you because you're poor. Like that's what I was told. Okay. And that really colors the way that you see the world. But again, you know, going into a situation thinking, okay, people aren't going to like me. I mean, I did a lot of that, but eventually I realized that's not getting me anywhere. I have to go into it with a different view and really just assume the best case scenario, hope for the best, and then just know that if the worst does happen, if you do get rejected, you can handle it. No big deal. You know, we've all survived a lot of adversity in our lives, just about all of us. And, you know, like, what's the worst that can happen? That's actually another tactic kind of along the same lines. So I said focus on the benefit rather than the potential loss, rather than the penalty, right? But sometimes looking at that worst case scenario and kind of working it through in your head, then you're like, oh, well, maybe this conversation doesn't go well. Maybe I don't get the job, but you know, I'm still alive. I'm still kicking, still got a wonderful family. And then you can have that gratitude for the things that you will still have, and realize that, you know, whatever this thing is, and as scary as it may be, it is not the be all and end all. So I know we always say to think positive, but actually kind of visualizing and playing out the worst case scenario in my head sometimes is helpful. As like a reality check, to realize that, okay, it's really not that bad, even if it doesn't turn out the way that I want, even if I do have that penalty. But then on the other hand, bring it back to the benefit, which would be totally awesome, of getting the dream job, or, you know, making a new friend, asking someone out on a date, whatever it is for you. So that's really it, guys. I'm going to try and keep these not too long, hopefully. The next few days, we're going to have different themes each day that I will be announcing. I did want to, I'm going to pull up your journal prompts really quick. And then, so talk about the prize for participation. Each comment that you leave, so you can share a little bit about what you have been journaling on, engage with the videos, share your impressions, answer the questions that I ask in the videos. Each comment that you leave is going to be an entry. Now you have to be on my email list also to win. So if I draw someone who's not on my email list, I'll draw another name. But one person is going to be drawn to win a 1-year membership to work with me. So that includes access to the video library of Beachbody On Demand. So it's like over 700 workout videos, healthy recipe cooking show, lots of different nutrition plans. You get a 1-year membership to that, along with support from me and access to all of my virtual programs for a year, fitness programs and nutrition programs. And it also includes a chance to try some of our supplements that we offer. So I think that's a pretty incredible prize, a year of support that you have a chance to win, as long as you participate and you are on my email list. 1 second, I am just going to pull up your journal and go over the prompts, and then I'll wrap up. So if you're watching now, or if you're watching the replay, let me know, you know, how did this strike you? Is this something that was helpful to you? What situations do you see yourself using it in? Okay, here we are with the journal. So the prompts for today, what experiences during your childhood may still be affecting your confidence today? So, you know, similar to the stories that I told, what experiences from when you were younger really made you feel insecure, and how do you still carry those messages with you in your life? What kinds of experiences kind of trigger those for you and make you feel the same way that you did when you were a kid? And then the second question is, how can you rewrite the story? So sometimes even just like bringing those to the surface, it's like, you know, like I said, other kids made fun of me as weird. Well, now as an adult, I know we're all weird, right? So it's not really a valid criticism. So just kind of like saying it out loud, writing it down can be a reality check for that. And then starting to rewrite the story, right? So if you got, if you are on my email list, you got the email today about embracing your flaws. And it's like what I was saying with, you know, being made fun of for staring at people, eavesdropping on their conversations, maybe not the best habit, but I was a kid and I didn't know. But it is the way that I developed my imagination and became observant, a good listener, a creative writer. So I promise you, every flaw, every single flaw has a positive side. Think about what the positive side is for you and rewrite the story to appreciate that positive side. All right, that's it for today. See you tomorrow at 7 o'clock Central. Bye, guys.